for Gaza, for the Gaza Strip, speaking to us, Sister Youmna ElSayed, Al Jazeera English correspondent, herself from Gaza. She's currently in Cairo, having evacuated with her family. But you will have seen her, I think, on your screens, if not on Al Jazeera, certainly on your TikTok screens, your Instagram screens, etc. She is one of the most compassionate and discerning journalists who have been reporting out of Gaza. And without some of her reports, many of us would not know the reality on the ground. So welcome to Salam Media, Youmna. And really, we appreciate all that you do and all that you are.
Thank you so much for the heartwarming welcome, Ayesha. I'm very delighted to be with you today.
So you're saying, you have said this before, but I'm going to repeat it. What is happening now in Gaza is the result of a systematic, deliberate, and coordinated genocide towards the people of Gaza. Can you expand on that for us? We've seen it every day on our screens, but we want it directly from you as a Gazan.
Well, that's very true, and I've seen this. I've seen this being interpreted by facts since the beginning of this genocide on the Gaza Strip. I mean, the whole world has witnessed the Israeli officials coming out live on media and speaking about how they plan to kill the civilians of the Gaza Strip. They're talking about the civilians when they say that there is going to be a full imposed blockade of the Gaza Strip. When they speak about completely cutting off the Gaza Strip from the water and electricity sources, when they or when they prevent any kind of humanitarian aid from entering the Gaza Strip, when then they start, while they invade Gaza, to deliberately and directly target hospitals, killing patients and killing medical staff that are available to save those injuries from that war. And then the starving of like hundreds of thousands of children. And the entire world is watching that. Israel has been implementing these steps one after another, just as it declared its plans since the beginning of the war. And this is what we see. The main issue is that since day one, when Israeli officials came out to declare these statements in front of the entire world, it was okay. It was okay with everyone. No one said that these statements are in contradiction of international law and humanitarian laws and are not to be even incited.
Yeah, I think, the incitement, the hate speech, the rhetoric, not only from Israeli politicians in high office, including the prime minister and the president, but also civilians, people of religious persuasion, leaders of religious persuasion, rabbis who are coming out and openly saying, yes, kill all the children, kill the women, because these are the incubators of future terrorists. The children will grow into future terrorists. This is really hateful hate speech. And on that point, Youmna, you've done some really compassionate but very heartbreaking reporting on children. We've seen this report of yours, with the child, who got off the ambulance and his backpack was bleeding. And I think any parent anywhere in the world, having heard you on that, must have got cold shivers thinking, that could be my child.
Ayesha, this is just one of the many, honestly, many situations that I have seen in Gaza. This is just one. And it was very difficult for me as Youmna, because I'm a parent, because I'm a mother, to even be able to speak about this situation. I was finally able to speak about the situation when this journalist from this Swedish magazine asked me, what is the worst situation that you can't forget until now? This is just one of these many painful situations that I have seen in Gaza and lived in Gaza. This is the reality. And this story with this boy, it has happened so many other times. I've seen it with fathers, I've seen it with mothers, I've seen it with other children.
Hmm.
The fact that it's not even easy for us to talk about, but you get to the point where people, you need to know that this is the reality of our everyday life, of
Hmm.
Palestinians everyday life. This is what Palestinian children are going through, this is what parents are going
Hmm.
through, and it's not okay. I mean, I've seen these pictures, like with so many other people on the screens. We've
Hmm.
seen these pictures on the screens. We've seen the pictures of a father carrying the bodies, or pieces of bodies of his
Hmm.
children in two plastic bags. What does it differ from the story of this boy carrying his brother Ahmed in his backpack?
Backpack, yes.
Am I ever going to like get over this even if I talk about it? No, because it's just a very painful reality. And I've said this many times since the beginning of this genocide. What is happening in Gaza is really too much for any human being to bear.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's if it is so traumatic at second and third hand, one can not even imagine what the lived reality of that is. It is inconceivable that such scenes have become normalized over the last 6 months, and that the world is still dithering, and that despite the UN Security Council resolution last week, and despite the ICJ ruling and the new warning from the ICJ last week, that Israel is still continuing to do this. Yet just yesterday, we saw the bombing of a refugee tent in, again, in real time. It was captured in real time. We saw the bombing of a refugee tent in the grounds of Al Aqsa Hospital. And the fact that we can see this, that we can continually witness, what many have called trauma porn, Yumna, but which it is necessary for people to see, to realize what is going on there. This is, I think, the world has reached a state of numbness, and certainly the Zionist occupying regime has reached a state of such inhumanity as to be able to continue this in the face of the suffering of so many, including children and babies. So, your reporting has been particularly important in that regard, Yumna.
Well, Aisha, I want to tell you something that's very important. The most thing that Gazans or Palestinians in Gaza have been fearing since the beginning of this genocide, and how it has been unfolding in a very terrifying and devastating way, is that the outside world would actually get used to the images of the killing. They would get used to the images of hearing the numbers of those being killed and injured every day, of the destruction that is happening every day. It's not okay, and we as Palestinians in Gaza living that reality, it does not get easier on us
No,
as
indeed.
days pass. No, it gets harder, it gets worse, because we live the suffering compounded. It just gets compounded more and more and more. And when people watching these images and watching us stop actually doing any kind of action to withstand the Palestinian people in Gaza, to declare their support and their rejection to this genocide, then this is the actual problem. This is the real problem, because that
Mhm.
means that everyone else has abandoned Gaza. All governments of the world have abandoned Gaza. That is a reality. And so many of them are complicit in this genocide, either by arming Israel, either by facilitating all the let's say elements of this genocide, or by not helping in entering the humanitarian aid to the Palestinian people. But we're left with the people's support. These people, thousands, going out in the streets in solidarity with what is happening in Gaza, in support of the Palestinian people. This is the only hope that we still have. And we still hope that this would actually change something. I mean,
Inshallah, inshallah.
Salam Media, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic Sharia and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
In a first for South Africa, Muslim families can now access priceless private emergency medical care with the only fully Sharia-compliant medical takaful and wellness plan. In the event of illness or an accident, Emergivac Sharia will evacuate you by private ambulance to a private hospital and cover you for up to 575,000 Rand for in-hospital expenses, such as radiology, pathology, surgery, ICU, theatre, doctor and specialist expenses. Plus, you receive 24-hour armed response services, roadside, home and even appliance assistance services. Simply download the Emergivac app and register online or SMS Sharia to 40777. Emergivac Sharia, for when serious emergencies require seriously fast response.
Abu Huraira narrated that he heard the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, say, "In black seed there is a healing for every disease except death." This Ramadan, experience the health benefits of this ancient blessed seed by using the Tib Black Seed range. Black seed assists the body to boost immunity, regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and act as a potent antioxidant. Experience a holistic approach to health by introducing the Tib Black Seed range into your Ramadan routine. Available in capsules, pure cold-pressed oil, and a vapor rub. Trust Tib Health Sciences for quality black seed products. For more information, visit blackseed.co.za. Available at leading pharmacies.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Really hope so too. We have a question from a viewer asking, other than going out in the streets and marching and protesting and trying to boycott, both economically and culturally and academically, what could the way forward be to overcome this genocide? What could be the way forward? That's a question from Malik Amir, who has been viewing our interview, Youmna.
Well, again, the only action required, or actually to make a difference in this genocide, is the governments to actually to be a political stance, for there to be a political stance. And this political stance or governmental action wouldn't come without the support or the pressure of the people. Yes, we ask the world, we ask the governments of other countries to pressure Israel to end this genocide. But for these governments to actually, if they don't believe in doing this on their own, because they can see a genocide unfolding on an entire population, if they can't do this on their own, then it is the turn of the people to pressure their governments to get to that point. And this can only happen by the power of the people.
Inshallah.
Not, then there isn't any other hope.
Yes, I think that's true, and I'm very proud to say the South African government has come out strongly, as you know, in support of the Palestinian people. But we need to pressure not only our government but governments around the world. And one way of doing that is to get maybe sanctions imposed on Israel, or certainly senior Israeli politicians, etc. But at the same time, we need to continue to share the images coming out of Gaza, the news coming out of Gaza, and indeed the rest of Palestine as well, because there's ethnic cleansing going on in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, as we know. But we need to not get, war fatigue as consumers of media and social media, and to continue to humanize and rehumanize the cause of the Palestinians, whose very humanity has been systematically erased by the occupation regime. So I think that's also, something we've been trying to do on this program, Youmna, by bringing in elements of Palestinian culture, discussing those elements, etc. If you had a single message to viewers mainly in South Africa, but also around the world, and listeners on Salam Media, what would that be? What would you ideally like to see us as citizens with no great economic or political power? What would you like to see us do?
Every single person living anywhere in the world outside of Gaza can do a lot. They can share, they can educate, they can speak about what is happening in Gaza, they can protest about what's happening in Gaza. And this all matters. This all makes a difference. It makes a difference politically, economically. It makes a difference in spreading the culture and spreading the ideology of what other, or opening your eyes to the reality of what is actually happening in the world, other than just taking one narrative from one side or one particular politicized media outlet. So this is very important. This is very important. This makes all the change. And we might not see the change on the short term now, or the instant change to all this boycotting and to all this support that is going on, but it's going to show up in the long term. I mean, since it started, it's starting to show now, the economical crisis, to all these Israeli companies that have been boycotted, and even American companies supporting the ongoing protests everywhere. This is not little. This is much. It makes a great change in the world, and at the end, it is for the true cause. It's for supporting a people who have been forcibly displaced. They have been ethnically cleansed, and they are being subjected to all the kinds of killings every single day.
Absolutely.